show you one of the secret reasons why you actually want a DIGIBEE, but don't know yet if you want one. Now, there's somebody else out there that's sponsored by a company that makes constant LED video illumination. Now, they're advocating that for photography. It is adequate, and there are some people that actually use that for, 10 feet, 12 feet or less. And I understand why someone is unable to, someone that doesn't know how to use a light meter, or someone that's getting into photography, or they don't advance beyond what they could actually see, because with stroboscopic work and professional studio strobes, you have to be able to envision what something would be. You still have to meter, of course. Even the best professional in the world, especially with a studio strobe, is extremely highly recommended you purchase at least like $100 light meter, something decent that you can meter with. What is it that's fascinating about the DIGIBEE that you have the ability to do that you don't with other studio strobes? So not only do I was speaking of a system called Rotolight, and they make a constant LED illumination, which is specifically for video lighting, but they actually market them now to broaden the spectrum for photographers. It's not ideal for photography because it's specifically designed for video lighting, and the reach is not that far. What if, however, we had a real photographic tool, meaning a professional studio strobe, that is also has the capability of doing 10 feet or less, because a lot of indoor portraiture, 85 millimeter, 100 millimeter, 12, 13 feet or less, often less. And, there are advantages to WYSIWYG light. What you see is what you get. And, of course, it's wonderful if you want to do a interview video. What we have with the Pulse Buff and the cool 400 watt LED illumination from this unit, that specifically, as opposed to the Rotolight, which the way it is the way it is. As far as light modifiers, no dice. Light modifiers, I've got some I'm going to show you here in a second, just a few. Light modifiers for a real professional studio strobe are endless. So that means that I have the ability to mod the continuous LED cool illumination out of this professional studio strobe in, if I wanted to, close-in work doing WYSIWYG or video illumination only. You have the ability to turn the strobe off if you want to use it for close-in work. Now, I showed you this neat little tip before. This is a monopod everybody should buy. It weighs less than a pound and it costs $100. I've got a couple of them. It's a Series P326. They make one that's a little longer, which I believe goes by a 426. And this is a carbon fiber. It weighs literally less than a pound. All you do is take the head off, which I have here, and you screw in a light stand adapter, which is like a $3 adapter. If you get light stands, you've already got these things anyway. And then I can use this with my Pulse Buff studio strobe. What I have now is a common 8.5-inch reflector with a 15-degree grid. What that does is gives me a great deal of directionality over the control of the light. If you wanted to mount this on a tripod, that's fine. I'm actually thinking of using this for video illumination or doing close-in WYSIWYG photography using the power. Right now I'm at full power. Let me drop it down a little bit. You see the directionality with a 15-degree grid. If I take this grid off, it'll be a whole lot brighter. You're thinking it's not that bright? Well, that's because I have a 15-degree honeycomb grid in this. If I'm just a little bit off axis, you basically can't see anything. And what that does, it gives you everything in photography. People think, well, I have to have the best camera, the best lens. Like, yeah, that's really less than half the story. You have to have great lighting, and the very, very next thing is control over that lighting. So the advantage that I have here with the Pulse Buff DIGIBEE that you're not really aware of is that even though it's a professional studio strobe in and of itself, right now I have it off. I have the strobe off. even though it's a professional studio strobe in and of itself, if I just wanted to use it for a video light and using these specific mods, I have great light control and continuous lighting capabilities. Let's say I was shooting this microphone, for example. I'm going to actually bring it up a little higher. Just anything. It doesn't have to be this close. The sort of off-axis rejection that I'm able to get, so that I'm able to define the shadows, the diffuse or midtones, and the speculars. If I'm just blasting out light out of this and that's what I want, that's fine. But if I want to give definition to something, right now when I'm actually looking at this, if I had the camera in my hands, I'm giving definition only to this side, and over here I have shadow, and I have a nice diffuse or midtone on the microphone here as an object. And the same thing applies to face. You know, face has contours, and with this sort of off-axis rejection with like a 15-degree grid or a 30-degree grid, I'm seeing what I'm getting. And if those people that want to get into professional lighting, what you could do is use a professional tool like this to wet your feet before you step deep into the pool, and you know, think about getting a light meter and you know, start using the studio. It's not that difficult. I could teach anybody how to use a professional studio strobe in one day. It is recommended that you have a light meter. You know, light meters exist for a reason. You know, your camera has no incident meter reading in it. Anybody that tells you that light meters are throwback technology has absolutely no clue, has zero idea about anything in the realm of professional lighting and photography. Zero. Let me turn the unit off a second and actually change. This is just a 15-degree grid that is attached to an 8.5-inch reflector available from Buff. You see here I actually have the LED dome in the center here, and this is the xenon tube, which gives me on this particular unit 160 watt-seconds of total maximum illumination, or 320 watt-seconds on the DB800. Now, this is fascinating. The neighbors thought a UFO landed yesterday. I was checking about how far this long throw reflector, which is only a little bit more money than the 8.5-inch reflector, would actually shine light at full 400 watts on the DB400. And by the way, the LED illumination is the same between the DB400 and the DB800. And it's really quite astounding. Hold on a second, let me get it on there and power it on. So right now, of course, I have no grid on the unit, and this is a long throw reflector by any definition. I can't point this directly at the camera, but you can imagine the sort of output that I have on this unit. I mean, it's absolutely blinding. I'm able to toss light out a lot further than anything from Rotolight. All these adapters that are available for professional studio strobe, they work the same way, whether it's constant illumination or if it's stroboscopic illumination. The difference is absolutely zero, other than one being constant, one being a xenon flashed pulse tube for taking a flash of stroboscopic professional photography. So this is the reason, and these units are rather cheap. So 300. No, I'm not sponsored by Buff. You know, I say this of my own free will, and I think it's something that you've not considered. And so this is what is available to you with the DIGIBEEs that you don't have available to you with Rotolight, for example, and you also, Rotolight doesn't make any strobes that I'm aware of. You don't have that availability of using video illumination, WYSIWYG modeling lamp illumination at that kind of output, much less cool running with any of the other Buff products. I'm just collapsing the unit now. This is very lightweight too. 3.5 pounds, that's another pound here, and a half a pound on the reflector. I'm looking at I'm looking at under 5 pounds on this entire thing. Under 5 pounds. Now, I'm not going to mount this here to show you what I could do with this, but this will also fit on the Buff DIGIBEE. Imagine what I could do. Actually, the face goes in like this, and of course, you get a type of beauty. And this is adjustable, by the way. This is an enormous beast. The point being is that the possibilities with a professional studio strobe that has LED video illumination output are infinitely more so than spending. The equivalent Rotolight cost is more, and all it does is video illumination, as compared to this, which does constant video illumination, plus is also a genuine, real professional studio strobe. So you get the best of both worlds and then some, because you have all these fascinating reflectors and light mods that will fit soft boxes, for God's sakes, octaboxes, reflectors, moon units. Just the possibilities are just, you just rattle them off like a dictionary. And none of that, zip, zero, is available for those constant video illumination tools. And so this alone, for $310, like on the DB400, is worth it. And then you're getting a professional studio strobe on top of that. And so I think that's something that other people have not considered. And I think you should consider it. Because I love something, to me, that is just hardcore awesome when it comes to photography gear, is something that serves a dual purpose. Now, I've got a couple items like lenses that serve 4 purposes, and those things are just like, you have to own them, period. It's like you're an idiot if you don't own them. And considering what this is as being a, see, this is the grid that actually pops into the 8.5-inch reflector. Being what this is, and the fact that it is, it's actually more than a dual purpose unit. And at $310, it's kind of one of those no duh, get it now sort of pieces of gear. I say that of my own free will, and nobody's pulling my strings to say any of this stuff in this video. So take it for what you will, but those are the facts. And if it works for you, then I think you ought to order a pair of them. I'm getting another one. I got 2 of them, and one of them I gave away in a contest, which I shipped out yesterday. The contest winner shipped it to him, and so now I'm going to have to grab another one. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.